I'm Congressman Dean Phillips. I'm the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on the Middle East, and I'm here today with Leat Corinne Unger, whose cousin Omer Shem Tov has been a hostage held by Hamas in Gaza for the last 291 days. And Leat is my guest for Prime Minister Netanyahu's speech tomorrow in front of the United States Congress. And I thought it'd be nice to spend a few minutes together and tell us about your cousin. Starting with that, I want to hear about him.
So I'll say that Omer has a nickname in his home. He's called Yeled Shemesh, which means sunshine child. He truly brings light into every room he walks into. He's very funny, very silly, loves to make people laugh. He wants to be a music producer. So he loves music, which is why he was at the Nova Festival. And I think one of his favorite things to do is to really spend time with his family and eat dinner with them on Friday night, which is a traditional Sabbath meal.
And what do you know about his capture in that day? I know it's probably difficult to share, but...
So I know that at 6:29, when rocket fire began, Omer's parents had called him as they were woken up to sirens, and that essentially Omer was pretty calm because, unfortunately, we've normalized this whole idea of rocket fire in Israel, and so they thought it was just a typical round of rocket fire. I think shortly after the landscape sort of changed, and armed terrorists entered the festival grounds. Itai and Maya, who attended the festival with Omer, began their escape route, running through the fields. And at some point, they lost track of each other. Omer had a chance to get out with a group of friends who made it out safely, but he chose not to leave, as he didn't want to leave Maya and Itai behind. Unfortunately, while on their escape route, Hamas terrorists surrounded them on Road 232 and unloaded live ammunition onto their vehicle, wounding Maya and Itai and disabling the engine of the vehicle. And so it took us, I think, 15 hours until we received a telegram video of Omer being forcefully, sort of his hands cuffed behind his back and thrown onto the floor of the white pickup truck next to Itai. And we were able to identify him through the tattoo on his arm.
Has the family heard anything about his current circumstance?
So the last we've sort of heard was Itai and Maya were released on the last ceasefire deal. Well, the only ceasefire deal, I should say. And it turns out that Itai had spent his time in captivity with Omer. We know that Omer is struggling to breathe as he has asthma and no access to his inhaler, as no medical body has visited. We know that he's suffering from intense stomach pain because he has celiac disease and requires specific nutrition, which he doesn't have access to.
You telling your story is a way for us to share the truth, and so few know right now that 7 or 8 Americans are being held hostage amongst the 120. Of course, we know about the thousands of deaths in Gaza, and the human horror, which you have to live every day. And I want to express our sympathies and our prayers for Omer,
I appreciate that.
who's on our mind.
I'm often asked how I feel when I witness the human suffering in Gaza, and it almost shocks me, as if I'm immune to feeling anyone else's pain but my own. One person's pain doesn't negate another people's pain, and I don't want to see any innocent human being suffering. It doesn't matter race, religion, political affiliation. Everyone deserves to live in peace. Innocents deserve to live in peace, and in order to begin mending and healing in the region, the release of the hostages must come first so that we can begin to heal as a human race.
A beautiful message. So few of us can even begin to comprehend what it must be like to be a family member of someone held captive for so long and in these circumstances with such horror. But can you describe what it is like, for you and your family, and what the days are like, and how you navigate such a traumatic experience?
You know, I want to say that it gets easier, but it doesn't. It actually gets harder as the time goes by. I woke up this morning to take a train here, and I looked over when my alarm clock rang, and my 6-year-old was snuck into my bed. And I kissed her and I hugged her. And I imagined what Shelley must feel like, Omer's mother, waking up in the morning and not having the option to run into her son's room and kiss her son's forehead and caress his hair. Every day has really been a battle of what else can we do, what more can we say, how else do we explain, what language can we speak to really make people understand that there is a boy and a family behind a poster. He is not just a poster. He is an entire world that's waiting to come back to his family.
He's 21 years old.
He marked his entry into adulthood 3 weeks into captivity. His birthday was October the 31st, and that's when he turned 21.
And the other poster here is all the
poster,
hostages. Yeah, just to
the 120 innocent human beings who are being held.
Each of them with family and stories. Sure.
Each of them with a story, with families, with people who are waiting for them to come home.
You know, it's hard to have conversations about the hostages and not have one about life in Gaza and just all of the human horror. And I trust you, like me, like so many, just want to see this violence end and
1,000%.
You know, respect for human life. And I hope anybody watching us right now in any conversations like this recognize that we all place human beings above all else, you know, not race, religion, nation. And what message would you like to send to Prime Minister Netanyahu if you could share with him your very specific thoughts?
An American jury is waiting for you to do the right thing, to fulfill your promise as the leader of the only democratic state in the Middle East, the Jewish state, to bring back our people, our brothers and sisters home safely, and to restore the sense of security and end all innocent suffering so that we can begin to heal as a people.
Tikkun Olam. It's
Tikkun
a
Olam.
good message. And lastly, what would you like Omer to know if he could watch this right now? What message would you like to send to him?
To stay strong. And if he only knew how many people were fighting for him, and that we will not rest until he is home. I will not rest until he is hugging his mother, his father, his brother, sister, his whole family. That's all I want. I don't want anything for myself. I just want it for him and his family.
Well, it's our job to turn empathy into action, and I sure hope we do. I'm so grateful you're here as my guest and for telling your story.
Thank you.
It's very important. Thanks, Leat.
Thank you.